Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Having a good Cellie is the most important thing about being in prison. When it comes to being able to do your time, let me put it that way, right? Because if you don't have a good Cellie, you're not going to be able to do your time in whatever level of peace that you can find in prison. And it's hard to find peace in prison. But when you go into the cell that you're assigned and you lay down on that pillow, you want to be able to close your eyes and not worry about what your cell is thinking about or what he might be wanting to try to do to you or anything like that, right? You want peace. You want some peace. And that's hard to come by in the penitentiary. It's hard to come by. But the thing about that is this. You don't control that. In a lot of situations, you don't control who your cell is going to be. Especially when your current cellie goes to the hole and a chain comes in and they have to assign the individuals that come in to whatever bunks are available. And that's what happened to bro. Now we all in the pod chilling. And Monday, Wednesday, Fridays back in the day, that's chain day. That's when the buses come in. That's what they call it, chain day, right? So when the buses come in, individuals get assigned wherever there's an open bunk. And we were all sitting in the pod, and this dude named Jermaine walks in. And when bro's name is Sammy, when Sammy saw him, look, it was like something happened. This his jaw dropped open. He just stopped. He looked at him, and he knew there was only 2 bunks in the cell, but he just had this feeling that they had assigned him to his cell, the cell he was in. Now let me make sure you understand something. See, if the administration knows or the Department of Correction knows that you have a problem with somebody, they'll keep you separate. Because when you first come into the penitentiary, they ask you, do you have problems with anybody? And if you do, they want to know their name, what the issue was, when did it happen, where it happened, were any charges involved, did you testify against anybody, did he testify against you? They want to know all of that so that they can try to protect you or keep you away from the individual and the individual away from you. But see, when you have street drama, right, the code is you keep that to yourself. You don't report that to the authorities, right? And that's what Sammy and Jermaine had. They had street drama. It didn't end up in no courtroom, nothing like that, right? But he could have told them, but he didn't. Sammy could have told them, Jermaine could have told them. They just didn't think that they would run into each other. Naive to think that, but that's just what they thought. So when Jermaine walked in, Sammy's jaw dropped, period. He's seen him right now. The dude is like kind of tall, skinny, you know what I'm saying, dude, and he got that 5-point star right up under his left eye. Now, the reason Sammy had beef with him is because Sammy, him and his partner now, his cousin, he ran with his cousin now, they were stick-up kids. So they robbed one of Jermaine's auntie's trap houses, right? Yeah, I said his auntie. His auntie, she was getting her money. But Sam and them robbed her. And in retaliation, Jermaine shot one of Sammy's cousin's best friends, lit him up, didn't kill him. You feel what I'm saying? But they got blood in the dirt. It's as simple as that. Now, that's the kind of issue, beef like that, they don't just fade away easy. There has to be some kind of resolution, but they never ran into each other to deal with that. And now he's like 3 feet away in the cell with him, you know what I'm saying? Because when a person comes in, you want to go to the cell and let them know, look, the rules of the cell. So Sammy goes over there. They recognize each other. They just looking at each other and didn't talk. Jermaine immediately knew that the empty bunk was his, the empty shell. Sammy just give him that look. Both of them are staring at each other like, think about 2 lions. 2 lions, 2 affiliations, 2 strong affiliations, right? 2 strong affiliations. You know what I mean? Because the numbers are high on the compound, you know what I mean? On both ends. So it wasn't about fear. And they knew, the vice lords, they knew he was coming. They knew he was coming. Now, the reason they knew he was coming was different than what we knew, but they knew he was coming. So after he gets situated and unpacks all of his stuff and all this and that, it's about count time, about the 4 o'clock count. So Sammy goes into the cell and he's looking and they don't talk. They don't say a word to each other. Not one word that day. And that's not normal. That's not normal. You have to lay the rules of the cell down. But Jermaine didn't want to rap. Sammy didn't want to rap. So they just sat there in silence. Both of them wondering when was the first move going to be made by either one of them. And they didn't make a move. So after the count cleared, Jermaine, he goes down to the ball field. His vice lord brothers are waiting on him. He gets down on the ball field, and we down there, we working out though. You know what I'm saying? Me and Cuz, we working out, lifting weights. But we got our eyes on everything. And I told Cuz, yeah, this dude that moved into the cell with bro, Sammy and all this and that, right? And they watching him as well. So we watch him when he goes down to the other end of the compound where the vice lords be at. And when he gets down there, it don't look like a happy greeting. It don't look like it. Now we can't tell what's being said, but we know the moves. And they going in on him. They going in on him. And he's told to step, kick rocks. We see this. We don't know what's being said. Well, I'm thinking, well, maybe they got to verify him first or whatever the case may be and all this and that, right? I'm thinking that's what it is. So he ends up walking the track by himself the whole rep, just to himself. And that's not uncommon when a new affiliation comes to a compound. If you don't know somebody and all this and that, or you're just trying to get your head together, things like that happen. They got to verify him. So right now he's on his own, but everybody understands he's a vice lord. So ain't nobody going to make no moves on him or nothing like that, because once he's verified, and if you did something to him prior to the verification, they coming to see you and you got a problem and all this and that, right? So you understand what's going on. So he's chilling. He's chilling. Now while he's chilling, Bruh and them and his young little cohorts, they're walking around and they talking, and we know what's going on with them. We know the body language. They looking at him, sizing him up, and we can see that he's nervous but not scared. Of course, that's normal too. That's normal too. So they get back to the cell. They watching each other. It's lockdown time. They both take showers and they respecting, without having to say anything, they're respecting each other's space. They're respecting each other's space. Both of them got showers at different times. The other one step out of the cell, this and that. But they're not talking to each other. No word is being passed back and forth between them. So the lockdown comes, right? And I had already talked to bro. I said, man, look here. Don't get caught slipping, man. And I said, eventually, you're going to have to lay the law down, man. Because you can't stay in that cell. We can't stay on high alert. You understand what I'm saying? Indefinitely. You're going to have to get him out of that cell. Y'all gonna have to come to some kind of understanding, because what y'all had going on the street was serious beef, and I made sure he understood the seriousness of that, right? So that first night, he got that blade. It's under the mattress, right up at the head where he sleep, and he kept his shoes on. Wouldn't turn his back on dude for nothing. And dude didn't have no blade. He didn't have no blade because he was just there, and bro watching, we watching and all this and that. When he met them on the yard, the vice lord, they told him to kick rocks. So he's gone. So we know he ain't got no blade, and we've been watching him. Everybody got their eyes on him. So he ain't got no blade. Bro could have done him in if he wanted to, but he didn't. He didn't. But he's sitting there chilling. He's sitting there chilling. Now that first whole week is tension. It's thick. I mean, the tension is in the air so thick that, look here, you could have cut it with a knife. Now that second week is what got me. Me and my number two. That second week, I see a little thawing out. He had come out of the cell, right, that morning. And I'm already out, after my COS come and give me a report, and I make my rounds. So we sitting at the table chilling. And dude come out of the cell, Jermaine come out of the cell. And I heard him say, Cellie, I'm going to give you some time in the cell. We all just turned our heads and looked like, what? I don't even remember hearing the dude talk before that. Didn't know what he sounded like. But he was talking to Sammy, and Sammy said, that's what's up, Cellie. So we looked at each other like, okay, something strange going on here. What done happened? Bro come out to the table. I immediately say, what's going on? He said, nah, man, we talked last night. I said, what y'all talk about? He said, man, we ain't even approach, what happened. We ain't talk about the past or nothing like it. We were just talking about different books and music and food and stuff like that, right? I said, so y'all just ignored the elephant in the room. And he was like, bro, it's just what came up. We just really, you know what I'm saying, we were laying there, I was watching TV. I didn't know he was watching the TV, you know what I'm saying, and somebody came on TV and we started talking about the music, and next thing you know, we started talking about books, and we were laughing and talking and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay. I said, so what you think? He said, man, if not for the stuff that had happened, man, I would think that he's straight. So that whole week, they vibing. They kicking it. You know what I'm saying? And then we start to get word why the vice lords had told him to kick rocks that day. I thought he was going through the verification process, but nah. He had some problems on the streets with them. So he's a man without an island or a family in the penitentiary. Used to be vice lords, and vice lords do not play. They don't play about stuff like that. They don't play. They are brutal when it comes to situations like that. They do not play. Right? So now I'm thinking of the problems we got on a whole different level. A whole different level. Because, you know, word about situations spread around the compound. And a lot of other individuals on the compound are from the same hometown that Sam and Jermaine from. So they know about that beef that was on the streets. So you start to hear little whispers in the penitentiary, people talking about they, both of them weak, and I wouldn't be in the cell with somebody that shot my cousin best friend or robbed my auntie's trap house. Just stirring the pot. Everybody on the compound, not us, of course, but everybody wants to see something. I ain't even gonna stunt. I didn't care nothing about what they had on the streets. Leave that on the street. If you ain't gonna deal with it immediately, man, take care of that when you get out. I'm not finna take on your problems. That's just me. Right? If you like it, I love it. Do more of it. That's my thing. You feel what I'm saying? So, time is passing and they started to get cool. I'm seeing them playing chess against each other out at the table. I'm seeing them break bread. Me and my brother, then we seeing them break bread. They at the microwave. They cooking. They, you know what I'm saying, watching each other. You know what I'm saying, the door when one of them is in there and you in the restroom or taking a shower. It's like they securing each other's down. And this is what Cellies naturally start to do for each other. They build a bond protecting that cell. And that's what I'm seeing with Sammy. So I pull him to the side. I said, listen, now you know the vice lords got a problem with him. And it's only a matter of time before they deal with that. You know that, right? And he told me, he said, yeah, I know, Joe. He said, but that's his problem. I said, okay. I said, don't pull us into that because y'all getting cool. Are we clear? He said, Joe T, I got you, bro. I got you. I ain't going to do nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna do nothing like that, right? So, okay, check this out. We chilling. Now, my COS, he's hearing the rumblings. They want to get him. Vice lords, all right? They want to get him. So I said, man, do you know what they going to do, when they going to do it, where they going to do it, and how they going to do it? He's like, I couldn't find all that out, man. I can only find out so much, but they trying to figure out a way to get it. I said, look here. Go to the 5-star and let him know, man. Don't do nothing in that cell. Don't come over here disrespecting that cell, cause bro in that cell, and we ain't finna just stand for that. Ain't nobody trying to help dude, but we ain't finna stand for you coming over here thinking you're running nothing. You feel? But we understand you got your issues. You do that outside this pod, on the ball field, somewhere like that, where he work in the chow hall, but there ain't gonna be none of that stuff going on in this cell, in this pod. You feel me? That's just that on that. So, my COS, he go deliver the message. The 5-star understand the business. And he sends word back, yeah, sure, no problem. So, everything's situated, we think. So I tell Sammy, now bro's supposed to keep his mouth shut, right? But again, they both young. So I tell Sammy, look, they plotting. They gonna get him. You feel what I'm saying? So watch yourself when you're around him outside the building. He said, all right, Joe T, that's what's up. I said, look, you don't need to be telling him nothing. You understand what I'm saying? That ain't our business. And he said, all right, Joe T. And I could read them like a book. See, them young ones, you can read them. They got them telltales, right? And then his eyes get the one, he get to looking away. All right, Joe T, okay. I knew he was going to tell him. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not upset about that. You feel me? Because they've started to vibe. As long as he don't cross the line, giving dude a warning, letting him know, that's real. That's real. But I still had to say what I said because I'm looking out for us, not him. And I understand brother got close to him, so they talking. So weeks going by, ain't nothing happening. So I'm starting to think anyway, man, they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't finna bust a grape with a sledgehammer. Not damn bit. You feel what I'm saying? I just don't see it. At this point, I don't see them doing anything. So, about that second month, you know what I'm saying? Bruh is sitting out at the table, he chilling. And Jermaine, he going to the shower. We see 3 or 4 of them, they come into the pod. Now I'm sitting there with my COS, I'm like, I'm knowing they ain't coming in this pod. I done told them folks don't come up in this pod trying to do nothing. They come up in the pod, they peeping the scene, right? We see what's going on, right? So I'm looking around and trying to figure out what's going on, and then I remember. They were on the ball field. I'm talking about the maintenance people were on the ball field fixing, it's a water pump down there, right? It's not a sink, it's a pump. The old fashioned kind where you crank, you pump it. They were down there fixing it so it wasn't gonna be no ball field that day. And most of the security was down there securing the perimeter area and the fence and all this and that. So if you were gonna do something, this was a good time to do it, but not in this pod. So I send my COS over there and tell them, look, to tell them, don't do that in here. So they look at him and tell him, man, we need to wrap then. So they pull him to the side. I'm watching all this. And they telling me, look, man, we've been told to come take care of that, man, to make sure it stay away from y'all and the sale, but we got to get him today. Today's the day. My COS come back to me and he tell me, I said, man, go tell Sammy, man, keep his butt in that cell. My COS go tell Sammy to stay in the cell. Can't come out. Do you think he listened? Nope. Didn't listen a bit. He comes out. Jermaine in the cell. Now I'm watching Sammy. He walks over there. Before he gets halfway, I'm gonna say, he got near the microwave, and it's about halfway to the shower. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they own him. They own Jermaine. They own him, man. About 3 of them. Trying to get him. And he handling his business. And he got dreads and stuff, right? He handling the dreads that's swinging all over the place, and that water that them got in his hair, it's going all in the eyes, and he popping them, and they trying to swing him. They got them things. They trying to swing at him and hit him. They didn't know what they were doing. They scraped him a few times, but they didn't poke him. But he taking care of business. Man, look. After a couple of seconds, it seemed like it was longer than that, but after a couple of seconds, I see Sammy, he just break toward the area. And I didn't get up, but I looked right at my COS and my number 2. I said, what the heck is he doing, man? So my COS jump up. I said, don't go over there. He on his own, man. If we go over there now, it's going to look like we getting in the business. We ain't finna do that. So we watching to make sure that Sammy don't get hurt, because he been told to stay out of this, right? Look here. He get over there and he start throwing them the left to right. He hitting them with them 2 pieces, man, and putting them down. Next thing you know, they looking around. They not sure if we gonna get in it, so they backing up. And they getting out the pond. They getting out the pond. So now, Sammy and Jermaine, Sammy know he in trouble. Sammy and Jermaine, they go into the cell. Jermaine done got scraped. It didn't poke him, but he got scraped. Got a few scratches on him, right? And they bleeding though. But they ain't, nothing he need to go to the clinic for. So they in the cell. And my COS, he immediately goes to the cell. He really going in there to get on Sammy, but he got to find out how dude is doing in case, we need to do something a little more serious, meaning tell the police to get the nurse or send him to the clinic, get him up out of there, right? Because we don't want to be locked down. And if you want to know how this turns out, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. And I say peace, y'all.
I'm getting so tired.